Continuing on with part 2 of 3. I believe our hero was last seen at the gates of Mordor. Forget that, I guess. We're going to continue with the paper folding by reverse folding from this point to this point in order to start creating the stubby little legs that this creature has. So folding along here, and then fold from point to point. And then you can flatten. Now we will open this up and bring it back along the midline. So lining this up, this part will be the leg itself. Flatten along the midline. And now just one more reverse fold to line everything up. So fold to the midline like this. Basically just match this leg up. And that is about all you need to do for the leg. So repeat on the left side. Not as fast as I'm about to do it, but nonetheless. Now your model should look like this, with the top having a little pyramid right there. Fold that downward just a pinch, and that will create creases right here, which will be invaluable for the next step. So pull like so, and flatten out that pyramid to stretch it out, and then reverse these creases that you made with the pinch, and that should make things easier to collapse. Now, to fully collapse, just have this halfway mark with the pyramid downward, like this. So that halfway line is denting downward now, with everything nice and lined up. And now collapse down to the bottom. It should meet the very bottom of the model like that pretty nicely. And the insides will look like this. Now flip it over, and we will work on the head portion by collapsing evenly. Squash down. And now you will notice the lines we made from our bargain deal in part 1 will allow us to squash down like this, lining things up. Very similar to the process we did with the upward collapse in part 1. We'll be doing a mini version here. Squash down like this, unfold, and now you will be making a crease between these 2 points. This isn't that hard to do. Just reverse these lines. You will be making only one new crease here. The rest should fall into place and reverse themselves like that. Once you flatten, just take this triangle and fold it to the right and left along the midline. And because I know how much you love open sinks, we'll be lining this up with the midline. Just fold sharply and unfold. And note, this is not like the other open sink in part 1. It's much easier, just on a smaller scale. So like that, open up and push in. And collapse like so. I'm just making sure things are totally lined up here. And now fold to the left and do the same thing here. Reversing the folds and pushing in. There we have an almost complete head. It gets crazier yet by taking this little line and lining it up with the midline. So fold and line them up like so. Then open one layer right here and swing it over, making a spread sink, reversing that crease right there, and it will spread over the middle, lining those two up, just like so. So there we have it. Now you can fold right back, keeping that sink in place. Now complete the same thing on the other side, like so. One layer, reverse this crease over the midline, and fold back. So, open this triangle and squash down. And now we will take this line and make it lined up with the midline. So just open up and push in at the point. Make a point where those two lines meet, like so. Same thing for all four. So here is the second one. The third. And finally, the fourth. Taking only one layer now, fold down in half, like so. And we are well into the head structure. Just take this free layer and keep it down while taking this point and folding it down, like so. Then fold backwards like that, and it should create an identical square shape like this. Keeping with continuity, we'll have to do the same thing with this other end. Fold down to the bottom point, then fold back and collapse. I will now cut off here. This has been part 2. Next is part 3.